Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to introduce you to the Quantilope automated tracking platform. We work with many brands similar to yourselves, all of whom we've helped to increase the efficiency and output of their research departments. And today, I'm going to show you how. My name is Hugues de Musa, Head of Research Consulting at Quantilope. In 2022, marketeers need more than ever agile tracking systems that are central to their decision process. I've become a part of this research automation revolution with Quantilope. Today, I'm joined by Gianna Saladino and Jessica Caldwell. Gianna is our tracking expert at Quantilope. She's partnering with insights leads to translate their tracking needs into meaningful research programs. In a moment, Gianna will share with you a demo of our tracking platform. You'll see how easy it is to set up a tracking the automated way and bring meaningful insights to your business. Jessica is Executive Director, Insights at Edmunds, the online car retailer. I'll ask Jessica later about her own experience with the Quantilope tracking platform and how she's been able to leverage Quantilope tracking results within her organization. You can submit your questions through the chat box. We'll answer them during the course of this session. So let's look at some of the key challenges of traditional brand tracking. From an ops standpoint, the first one is a long and complex questionnaires. A typical brand tracking questionnaire is written in a long Word document with multiple people commenting, adding, or removing questions or comments. Delivering a brand tracking wave traditionally involves an extensive team of researchers on the agency side for things like quality checks, analysis, reporting, and that leads to high operational costs. It's time spent also for insiders planners. A typical wave of results can take up to 8 weeks to process. If you need to monitor a category trend or react quickly to a competitor move, you can't wait that long for insights while competitors are spending this time optimizing their mix. Finally, while research teams focus on core deliverables, they're enabled to deliver ad hoc data cuts fast. You may want to understand specific target groups so that you can customize your messaging towards different generations, for instance. With conventional tracking programs, this takes too much time. So how can we help? At Quantilope, we view the future of research to be a unique combination of state-of-the-art AI-driven technology and human expertise. Our end-to-end automated platform enables DIY research that provides better insights. We can offer high levels of advanced research quicker than ever before and enable you to do these type of projects in-house with training from our certified research consultants. Your Quantilope tracking platform will deliver fundamentally 3 key benefits: speed, substance, and empowerment. Let me explain. Let's start with speed. Automation now makes it possible to review results in real time, to make quick decisions and react to any changes in the market situation fast. With the Quantilope automated end-to-end platform, you'll be able to set up and update your tracking effortlessly, providing results to your internal partners at speed. This means that long processes like survey programming, data tabulation, results visualizations timelines are significantly reduced. At Quantilope, the good news is that speed goes hand in hand with substance. Because our tracking system is entirely automated, we minimize the risk of data error. That means quality results first time. You can spend more time thinking about the key questions you like to address and reflect on your insights. You can also use some of our automated advanced methods with the tracking program to provide more substantive results. For instance, you can use our fully automated implicit method to understand subconscious brand associations, or a key driver analysis to prioritize which features or services need improving to affect a key outcome. Or you may leverage our qualitative video survey method to do deep dive on your brand perceptions. So quality data and advanced method means more substance you're tracking. Automated tracking results put you in the driving seat. The Quantilope's automated tracking platform, empowered by our brand tracking expert, will enable you to quickly implement high-quality programs to monitor the impact of your marketing strategy in real time and future-proof your brand. So in summary, Quantilope brand tracking provides real-time flexible results, end-to-end platform delivering speed, research consulting expert support, and higher quality advanced methods. So that's it for me. Right now, I'm not going to hand it over to Gianna, who will provide a guide for how to actually build a brand tracker that covers all the benefits that I just mentioned, and that provides you with high quality insights in your brands and competitors' performance. Over to you, Gianna.
Great, thanks, Oog. So now, of course, if you have any questions as I go through, please type them into the chat. The first thing I want to do is show you what you could be creating as an end deliverable to quickly disseminate substantive research results and make an impact using our interactive dashboard. So here I'm actually showing you the end results for one of our syndicated studies we did to understand how consumers are shopping around in the mattress industry here in the US. We had three main objectives of this tracker. First, to understand how consumers are buying mattresses and the motivation behind the decision. Second, how brands perform through the brand funnel over time. And third, how DTC or direct to consumer brands stack up against more established brands in the industry. We also included a max diff, which prioritizes and identifies preferences to take a deep dive into the features that are most and least important to consumers during their purchase decision. And as I scroll down, you'll see the story we've told here, starting with our current behaviors in the mattress category, then honing in on the important features consumers are looking for when shopping and how brands perform at the category level as well as compared to the DTC brands. And one thing to point out is that this entire dashboard is completely customizable. So you can add in your own text, images, even videos to brand your research. What's more is that this dashboard is also interactive. As I hover over the charts, you could actually see the live stat testing performed by the platform. As I hover over this data point, 71% purchased their mattress in store in wave 4. You can see that the data points in wave 1 and wave 2 are highlighted in red. This shows that there's a significant difference at the 95% confidence level between these data points. Additionally, you'll see that the wave 3 data is highlighted in gray. This means there is no significant difference of note. So how can you leverage the platform to do substantive tracking research in less time and with more efficiencies? Let me start at the beginning to show you how we got here. What you're seeing here is the homepage for our syndicated study. Everything I'm about to show you, you would also have access to. There's nothing hidden behind a black box. So for now, let's dive into our DTC brand tracker. Once you click into the project, you will notice we've landed into our Manage section. This is the project's collaborative hub, which is meant to simplify the project management experience for you and your team and streamline project communications either internally or externally with our Success Lab to save you time and effort upfront during the design and setup phase of your project. I want to start by jumping into our survey editor. And the main thing I want to point out here is that the interface is very easy to use using drag and drop. There's no complex configuration required, even for advanced methods like our tracking module or max diff. Next, I will quickly show you the fielding section. And so this is where you can connect with a panel provider, a community, or even your own database to start getting all the completes. Before you're ready to field your tracker, you have to click on your wave dates. By clicking on the wave feature, you can easily input the dates for data collection and create your wave labels. Once the waves have been created, you will have the ability to have complete visibility and transparency into the data collection process, saving you time that otherwise would have been spent communicating to multiple stakeholders. You will also be able to set up and view quotas within the platform by each wave to make sure you're talking to the right consumers, ensuring you get high quality, meaningful insights. Now, as soon as we start getting completes, your data will be automatically analyzed and visualized for you here in this Analyze section. So in the middle here, you're seeing the visualization. And right now, we're looking at the first question in the survey, which was our age question. Instead of focusing on age, I'm actually going to use the drop-down menu on the left-hand side and navigate to something a bit more interesting. Let's start with our brand awareness question. What we're looking at here is our bar chart shown at the total level. But what would be more interesting for us to look at would be how has aided awareness changed over time? Lucky for us, there's a very simple fix. All you have to do is toggle on our waves feature shown on the left-hand side. Here we'll be able to see our trended line chart for awareness starting from wave 1 to our current wave. And similar to our dashboard, you'll see as I hover over the data points, our live statusing feature is already enabled for us. Now that we've taken a look at our trended line chart, Let's also take a look at other charting options. Let's first navigate over to our brand consideration question. At the top of the chart, you'll see we have options for a few different visualizations. Clicking on our second option, this is our trend table. Starting on the left-hand side, we have our trended line chart showing data from wave 1 to our current wave. Then in the middle, we have the data for the current wave visualized as a bar chart. And then all the way on the right, we also have our percentage of change from the previous wave. Those numbers highlighted in red show that there's a significant decrease in the current wave, while those numbers highlighted in green show that there's an increase in change from last wave. Let's also take a look at our max diff data. By going into our method, we're going to click on this and change from descriptive analysis to max diff. At the top of the chart, we are presented with 4 different chart options, but for this case, let's take a look at our max diff scores. In order to see how our max diff results have changed wave over wave, we will need to use our split by function. On the left-hand side, I'm going to click on split by and use our M1 waves variable. This will then show you how the max diff scores have changed wave over wave. While traditional tracking usually takes some time to get the results, as you can see, all of these analyses will occur in real time and auto-update as completes come in so that you don't have to worry about exporting the data to another platform and wasting time or resources to get this level of substance. You will have the ability to get a pulse check on your tracking data the minute you start getting completes. Quantilope makes complex data analysis easy through the use of automation so that anyone can get substantive insights quickly. Now let's say I'm looking at this chart and I want to add it to a report or dashboard. You could simply click on Add to Report, and that will instantly save the chart down to your reporting repository here. Keep in mind that these charts will continue to auto-update as you get your completes, so you don't have to waste time recreating charts at any point. So you could see many different charts have been saved down already, but what most people tend to prefer is actually use the insights to create a dashboard to tell a story. And the best part is you can create as many dashboards as you'd like. So maybe one for your brand managers and one for your external stakeholders that contain different information. And you could see, you could add text and of course, all the visualizations you've saved down. And the way you create these is by clicking on one of the 4 buttons up here. So I could add one of the charts I saved down and can edit the title however I want. Once the initial wave dashboard has been set up, minimal to no changes are required. The data will automatically populate for each wave, saving more time for you when it comes to reporting out these results. Anyone is able to create these dashboards, allowing you to craft a story faster than ever using an easy to understand interactive deliverable. Now that you've created a story that you'd like and you're ready to share it out, you could export and save as a PDF or click on this shareable link and send the dashboard to your stakeholders, which is where we started at the beginning of this presentation. So with that, I hope you've seen how you could use Quantilope to create huge efficiencies in your tracking studies while still getting high quality, actionable insights. Thanks so much for your attention, and I'm passing it back over to Hugues. Please let us know if you have any additional questions.
All right, thank you so much, Gianna, for showing us the Quantilope tracking platform in action. Automation is definitely changing the way we do research, and there's no better way to deploying that with tracking programs that are usually fairly complex to set up and run. So let's turn our attention to a user of the Quantilope tracking platform, Jessica. Thank you for joining us again. A little bit about you to start with. At Edmunds, you're responsible for leveraging millions of vehicle transactions and web behavioral data to help make sense of all the retail automotive landscape for car shoppers, right?
Yep, that's right.
And the car market really has gone through a tumultuous last 2 years, right? With the pandemic changing consumer habits. We also heard about ongoing supply chain issues and the impact that this is having on new car purchase. So it seems like your company is at the center of all of this, and providing support, advice, and simplifying the transition process has been quite interesting. So I imagine that tracking the equity of Edmunds is becoming more important to continue providing the service that customers are expecting of you, right?
Yeah, that's definitely right. I think with all the changes out there and people having to pay higher prices for car causes them to do more research on sites like ours. So I think really tracking consumer sentiment, not only just awareness for our brand, but also how people are feeling about our brand. happy that we're able to give them that guide that they need to get through this process that is a lot different than if you bought a car ever in the past. So I think tracking now for us is probably more important than ever, really.
Excellent. So can you speak a little bit about the types of business questions or industry challenges you're using tracking research to solve for?
Yeah, definitely. I think that a big thing that we're looking at right now, just for us as we begin kind of this journey advertising more, which is something that we haven't traditionally done, but as we kind of move into this new chapter of our business, advertising. So of course, aided awareness is a question that I've asked a lot about, and the fact that we've got a few waves under our belt, we can kind of see how things are really shaking out. And then also, I'd say the fact that we're able to look at aided awareness by different like demographic profiles or geographic areas is important to us. That's answering business questions in terms of, are we really satisfying consumers, uniformly, or is it different age groups that we're speaking to, different locations? Like, are we just, people are just happier using us on the coasts? You see a lot of different things. So I think that overall, really this tracking information is helpful just for our own business, but also understanding our competitors and how we kind of fit in the competitive set, because we are in an industry where we do have a lot of competition and the offerings may not be that different. But I think using tracking and looking into what consumers are saying allows us to understand those differences and ultimately improve our product.
Definitely. So, I mean, you mentioned a few things here. So the ability to track with data cuts and doing that at speed and at scale is definitely very important. And I understand is providing the level of insights that you need. As you know, and as you heard from the beginning of this presentation, we talk a lot about speed, substance, and empowerment at Quantilope, right? There are a bit like the three pillars of our automated tracking solution here. Let's start a little bit doing a deep dive on speed here. Can you talk a little bit about the impact for your business of a fast turnaround in tracking results and how that's helping you create greater impact and credibility within your own organization?
I think that's one of the things that turned us on to Quantilope in the beginning was how fast the turnaround time was. Is the fact that we can launch a survey and have answers in the next week completed. I think that was a big draw for me originally. But I'm definitely one of those people that as soon as a study is launched, I'm checking immediately to see like what are people saying already. And there's not really a lot of options out there in which you can do that. And so I think for those of us who want answers quickly, and even if we're not looking at the full picture, I think that's okay because we can kind of see how things change over time. Speed is definitely important. Other part of my job is working with the media, and our deadlines are not 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They're like in the next hour. So anything that I'm delivering on, I'm delivering quite quickly. So I can't sit around waiting weeks for a presentation. I have to have it relatively soon, so we can turn it into our own story. We're not waiting for someone else to kind of take that and to craft something, because obviously I'm going to know, and anyone out there that's in my position is going to know that we have a good idea of what our customers are doing. So the fact that we can kind of take those learnings quickly and apply them quickly makes a big difference.
And has this created some change in the way the organization is seeing like insights from customers now that you can provide results at speed? Mm-hmm. Then that perception changed of the way in which research is used?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think research kind of has a reputation of taking a long time and maybe not really showing that many changes. And, survey results are, you were just interviewing people. We don't really know. But I think as people are exposed and they can see for themselves how quickly we can really get these results back and then also pivot if need be. I think that's been, a point that has really impressed a lot of people. I've started introducing some of my product colleagues into using the platform for testing out product ideas that they may have, or at least how to like position them or message them. And they have been, quite satisfied with the fact that the answers can come back quickly because they're product people on a website, so they can change things instantaneously. They're not, building something in a factory where the lead time is much longer. So I think that is, a point that people can get behind.
Love it. Love the way in which you've been starting to teach people within the organization on how to use the platform. Very nice. Let's move onto substance now, right? And I'd like to ask you, what exactly do you appreciate the most about the Quantilope tracking platform when it comes to things like data quality and also helping you driving meaningful insights? So I'd be curious to hear a little bit about that.
Mhm. Well, I think our journey of late at Edmunds is really to understand our consumers a lot more. And I think that the fact that I can create cuts of different types of data amongst generally any question, whether it is something as basic as aided awareness or reasons why they like our site or anything like that. I think that being able to do those cuts of data, and sometimes the results aren't what I think they would be, or maybe they're a bit disappointing. But the fact that I'm able to do that is really great. And also I can tell that when I'm able to present that data to my colleagues, they're a bit more impressed. And I think they're a lot more engaged by the data itself, because it's not just a static presentation of aided awareness is 35%. It's like, okay, well, that's great. But what exactly does that mean? But if you can say aided awareness is flat from this way from the last, however, amongst 18 to 35-year-olds, it's gone up significantly. Well, that changes the whole story and the whole dynamic of maybe what we're thinking or what we're working on. So for me, who's just gone through a tracking project recently, I'm speaking from firsthand experience here of kind of how this data can speak to my colleagues by drilling down a little bit further and giving them something that maybe they are not necessarily expecting.
Yeah, I love hearing about the storytelling side of things, because this is something that the platform allows you to do, right? By making sure that we spend less time on the operational side of things. You have time on the back end to think
Yes.
a little bit more about the story. So that's important.
Yeah.
One last question on this. How do you think you could optimize further the use of your tracking your Quantilope tracking? Curious to know about that as well.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think just really having more time to kind of go in there and explore, because I do think that the options of how you can look at data on the platform, there's more options than I really have time for. And I know that there's a lot of things that maybe my experience level, listening to Gianna's presentation before, I'm not quite there yet. But in time, I think that I can probably find more ways to really optimize what it is I'm looking for and find new interesting things. Because if you're lucky enough that the top line numbers are enough to satisfy your organization or enough to create a story, then that's great. But in my experience, that's never the case. So having to dig deep and finding those interesting nuggets that you can work with, I think that that is really where it is. And I think having more time to do that and to learn more about how I can do that is something that is definitely on my roadmap.
Sounds great. So we've already talked a little bit about this. We touched on this. It's the all empowerment side of things, right? The ability to support clients and yourself in particular with research know-how and the platform support, right, to answer those research needs. So I'd like us to delve a little bit on this particular point here and learn a little bit about how the Quantilope platform has been helping you during the initial setup phase of the survey, right? Because you had to do this on your own, and just curious to see how that went when you had to set up the tracking.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely got help from the Quantilope team, I think, on that. But I think in general, setting up surveys are fairly, I'd say, self-explanatory. There are a few, of course, school kid errors I definitely did make. And when I was pointed out to them, it's kind of like, oh gosh, I should have been able to figure this out. But that said, I think that that is the one easy thing, because in terms of the market research that I do, there's not necessarily a big team here. And if other people want to use Quantilope, it's really nice because I can show them quickly how to do it. And it's not something that it's so incredibly cumbersome that I know they're never going to get. I know after programming one survey, they should be good to go in terms of their comfort level in using it. So I think that that is good. And I like the fact that I can kind of play around with it. It's not so static in the sense that I send out a Word document to somebody and then it's like locked in stone. If I have, if I'm programming something and kind of think about something before it's launched, I can change it and it's quick and easy and I don't have to alert 100 people to do so. It's something that I could just do myself swiftly. And I do like that because I do change my mind sometimes.
Great. So what I'm hearing here is flexibility and also ease of use, right, of the Quantilope platform. For those of us who are waiting to hear a little bit about how it's working in real life, when I've been doing tracking the old way and I'm now projecting myself to do tracking the new way, you could reassure everybody that this is something that they can do. It's easy to implement. It doesn't really need like a whole bunch of people supporting and helping along the way, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think flexibility is key, just because it's not as if, we're working with a team that's doing everything. I mean, of course, there is nice benefits to that. However, when you are looking for flexibility and speed, that's not always the ideal scenario, I would say, especially if you're waiting on the data, you're waiting for them to craft a story on the narrative, in which you can probably come up with it quite quickly if you just look and pull two charts up there and you can kind of see where things are going. So I think that is really helpful, especially, in today's day and age where we have a lot of things really going on and we're looking at a lot of different things. I can look at a few things in the platform, leave it, have to work on something else for an hour, come back, still pretty much all there, pretty much the same, and just, carry on from that point. It's not a very rigid system that I have to do A and B before C and, all of those things that, can make things quite frustrating.
Sounds good. So actually, this is going to be my last question for you. That was my first question, but I left it for last. When you had to select different partners between different partners, right, for doing your tracking, why did you decide to go with Quantilope in the end, right? And take that route, take that risk of going with a platform rather than more traditional research vendors, maybe?
Well, first of all, I think Quantilope had a good demo, so that was +1 for your sales team on that one. But I think ultimately the fact that a lot of power is in my hands. I'm very much a hands-on, like do-it-yourself type of a person, and that's how I like to look at research. I think that by looking at just the analyze tab of the types of different charts I can pull up, and if I want to create a dashboard, I can do so. If I don't want to create one, that's also fine. I can dump it into a PowerPoint or whatever else I'm working with. I think that flexibility for me was really key, and also the fact that you can almost lose yourself in the platform of looking at things. And I think for anyone that is curious and just wants to know more, as we all probably should be, that definitely is a big selling point.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing your own experience. Coming from a client, has much more weight. So that from that perspective, I think that's, your experience is very valuable to us and of course to the audience who's been listening here. So I hope that everybody enjoyed this session. We're gonna close it now. Any questions that you have, we'll respond them through the chat. We've been doing that during the course of the session. And hopefully you get a better sense for what it takes to actually do tracking the new way, the automated way. And we invite you to connect with us at every opportunity. And again, thank you so much for joining this webinar. Thank you.